Hi guys. Okay, listen, I got a lot of good stuff on my video on asking questions, so I'm going to go back and forth and read this. This is from Feel Flow Free, and she says, we've all had experiences, whether we interpret them as bad or good, that have allowed us to evolve as a person. A bad thing may happen to us that we see later on helped someone else, or we see better helped us to understand who we are. Would you say that suffering is necessary to become our greater selves? If there weren't any suffering, would we reach for a higher power? Is this all part of a grand design? Yes, everything is all part of a grand design. No, you don't have to suffer at all, but that is a choice, and it is an experience. So, you know what, before I finish that, let's go down to the other part. I said something about I need to do a video on unconditional love, which I will do a separate video on that because it is long. It's longer. And basically, then she says, basically, all I hear in the spiritual community is that you need to experience the bad. You need the bad to experience the good. If there weren't darkness, then you couldn't appreciate the light. So I'm confused when you say your job is just to be happy. Also, let's see. Also, a good video would be, what is the purpose to all this? Meaning, purpose of life. I know spiritual teachers are always safe for the experience of it, but it's hard not to think in a linear way and to think that we are moving or evolving towards something. Who is this experience benefiting? The person having the experience, or is it so that God can have the experience through us? Thanks, Yvonne. Hugs, hugs, hugs. And Feel Flow Free, obviously, incredibly awesome insights and questions. Now, this is a good example of questions that are from different perspectives, and it depends upon the perspective that you're asking from that you get the answer. Now, from a human 3D going into 4D or 3D or 4D entity altogether in the duality creation. Now, first of all, let me tell you that the duality creation, or this light dark scenario that you experience here, is this creation. Now, I'll go into this further in another video as well, but this is just this creation, and by this I mean all of the multiverse, all the solar systems, all the stars, all of the everything that you could see and experience. Plus, this goes on way bigger than you think it does. It also goes down inside each atom further than you can imagine. On top of that, there are infinite multiverses also built on this light-dark dualistic creation. Now, just with what I've said, this is huge, right? Well, all of that you could put in a grain of sand, throw it in the Sahara Desert, and you would have some kind of an idea of how big this whole thing is. So the piece of sand that's built on duality or light and dark, that is just the piece of sand. There are outside of this piece of sand other pieces of sand like this one, built on concepts that I couldn't even begin to explain to you, that they are so far outside of your human thinking or experience that I would have no way of correlating your grain of sand to another grain of sand. They're that different, okay? So, given that, when you ask the question about good and bad, and do you need to suffer, and do you need to have the bad so you can identify what light is like? Okay, from 3D, 4D human, or anyone in this same part of the game, then it is light and dark, good and bad are important for you to learn stuff in. And if you came to this creation and did the reincarnation thing, in other words, that you've lived thousands upon thousands of lifetimes, and tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of lifetimes, if you include your experience as animal, plants, minerals, molecules of air, oxygen, all of those experiences, I'm going to call right here different kinds of lives, okay, because they're different kinds of lives. The human life is not the only life that you come here, and I figured out what happens and why the camera moves, which is my phone, is that I'm moving my hand over here and you guys can't see it. And when I'm talking with my hands, so the hand is jiggling the camera, so that and breathing. So I will try to not do that, so it's not too jumpy. Okay, so what was I saying? So from a 3D, 4D human entity, or from the perspectives where feeling good and feeling bad is part of the experience, then yes, it's not necessary. You don't have to feel good or bad doing 3D or 4D, but most people do, because you're trying to experience this difference, the difference between the experience of good or bad, or going into the dark or coming into the light, whatever direction that you want to come. You are in it for the experience of it, and you want it to be unique. Now, when you do these things from 3D, 4D human, or whatever entity you are, when you do this, it creates a pattern, a vibratory frequency pattern, that literally it's like a radio or TV show. You've created the TV show, you've put it out into the air, and then somebody else can get a TV and turn it to, say, an endless array of channels, or say it's like on the internet, okay? And you can type in Kitchen Nightmares with Ramsey, Season 5, Episode 1. So you actually make the TV show, and you throw it out into the waves, and then another entity can come and say, okay, type in blah, 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 Yvonne Ballard, this experience, or this date and time, and they can watch this experience. Now, because it is the other side, you don't just watch it. They can literally look, feel, see my whole experience in this lifetime, and anybody can, so that it is as real as if they did it themselves. So what's the advantage? The advantage is any entity can tune in to your life and have those experiences. Why do you do it? You do it, number one, for first-hand doing of the experience, and number two, you do it to put it out in the waves, so somebody else can experience it. Now, even if I had a Siamese twin going through exactly what I went through every moment of every day, that Siamese twin would be putting out a different vibration into the waves, so that somebody else could plug into it and experience it themselves. So, everything is correct. Do you need to suffer? No, you don't. Does it behoove you to suffer and then fix it and feel better. Sure, if that's what you want to do. If you want to live a life here of just total bliss, you can come on this planet in 3D or 4D and beyond and create that. You can come here, and there are people that you probably know who you look at their lives and it's almost like it's a charmed life. Everything always works out for them. They have a beautiful life, and you can talk to them and they still have a beautiful life. You go, oh, well, behind closed doors it's got to be different, and you get to know them and talk to them, and no, their life is pretty much just total bliss. Well, that's their production of their movie, and that's wonderful. And those vibrations will be out in the airwaves for people to experience as well. Now, that is what I do. I like to plug in and kind of watch movies. It's not watching movies like you think. You don't do it third person. You can if you are tuning in out there on somebody else's vibration, but you also can have like think futuristic. You've seen futuristic stuff like Star Trek, and they have the holodeck and they can interact with it completely. Okay, well, you can, it's like that, only somebody else has already gone through the motions and you're just experiencing it through their eyes. You can't make any changes to this. This is already in place. It can give you ideas on something you want to go do, though. Okay? Does that make sense? So, you can do that. And then maybe you'll do that and we can do it wicked fast. We don't have to do it through time and space. So, maybe you're like flipping through the channels, having these experiences, and then you go, whoa, I really like that place. Now think Sahara Desert. And you're flipping through and you're all these experiences and all these different kinds of creations. And you decide, well, I would like to go down there and do that firsthand myself. And agree to those rules in that creation. And for whatever reason. And then you can go down and you can be the one that makes the movie that is sent out to the universe, becomes a part of the one, and anybody can have access to that creation of this lifetime. So from the perspective of a human being in 3-4D living a linear time-space game, nothing is right, nothing is wrong. So if you want to have, if the individual wants to come here and have a completely blissful experience, then they absolutely can. That's wonderful. Add it to the whole. If you want to come here and you want to believe that you're born into an addicted mother, an absent father, then a father that's in jail that ends up getting killed, and you have to go out in a gang to survive. You learn to join the gang, lie, steal, cheat, kill in order to survive, and then you get like somebody comes and helps you, and let's say it's a Christian missionary, and they reach out their hand to you and gives you relief and brings you into a new community, teaches you about the Bible, and you really like the message, so you become a Christian. You leave your life behind in the dark, and according to the game, you've now gone into the light. And this dramatic difference causes a very beautiful vibratory effect. And those extremes are really fun for the rest of us out on the other side to plug into and like watch the movie or watch the TV show. Okay? So, from a larger, for a pullback perspective, big picture perspective, there is no beginning or end. There is no working towards or away from anything, because towards and away implies time and space everywhere, which time, even though you can't comprehend it, or you might not be able to comprehend that time and space are an illusion and everything is in the now, I know that most of you know that it is an illusion. It's just very, very difficult to step outside of that time-space illusion right now. Now, it's working to try to teach you right now because you're all in 4D. So you're going to have lost time, sped up time, things are going to change. You're going to think, oh, I did that, and then people will tell you, no, you didn't, or you will think you've forgotten something. You talk to people, and you didn't forget it. The event happened, but you don't remember the event. You'll remember things as being different that are right in front of you. Names of people, names of things. This is happening a lot right now. And I've had a lot of you guys tell me this. And that is just, since you're in 4D now, this is kind of you reminding you of that time and space is an illusion. All of these things are kind of a way to trigger you to be able to understand the time-space illusion. Okay, that's what's going on right now. So in linear time and space, and with your human brain, there are many other entities that use this same scenario, but in the case since we're on planet Earth, you will use the time-space illusion and the duality game of light and dark, good and bad, in order to not progress, because you have to in order to go back to source, and not to well, you just don't have to. It's just a matter of you doing a story. Now, if you watch a movie, most of the time there is a good guy and there a bad guy. There's a struggle, and the good guy wins. Now, that is an archetypical story of the human condition. Yes, most of the time you came here to experience light, dark, good, bad, play one side or the other. Ultimately, it will play out that the good guys win from that perspective, because everybody will go back to who they really are, and that is in the light. Okay? So, from one perspective, you will probably want suffering, but it's not necessary. Nothing's necessary. You get to do it all. You don't have to do something to get somewhere. No, 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 that's not true. The reason why the great teachers were telling you the good-bad scenario was so you could make peace with the bad things that were happening. But now that you can see that's from the human perspective, now you change things, and you disconnect or you pull back and you look at it from a different perspective, knowing that time-space is an illusion, and knowing that we are all one, all of us together are source. This word that most people call source or oneness. So from source's perspective and on down, this event that you created, this vibratory pattern that you put out for everybody to enjoy, well, that doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to be bad. You don't have to do anything to get anywhere. It simply is a movie. A very, very, very cool, good movie. And some people, lots and lots of entities, is probably really percentage-wise, more entities like to watch the movie and do it that way than be the actors. Anybody that's in 3 and 4D right now, super reincarnated, many, many thousands of lifetimes, you're the actors. And I generally, except for this particular event, most of the time the entity that I am on the other side, I prefer to watch the movies. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't, when we're watching the movies, we get to experience everything the five senses do. So we feel everything you do, consciously, subconsciously, on every level, body, mind, spirit, everything. We can experience all of that. The difference is that if we don't want to do it, if we don't want to follow the illusion of time-space, and this is usually what happens when the people that are watching the movie do a time-space movie. Most of the time what we do is we do it all, we experience all of it in a, well, it's not even a split second, in a moment, and we're done. Most people don't do it slowly through the illusion of time and space, because if you're going to do that, most of those people just go down and do it themselves. They're the actors. Okay? Now, let me glance through and see if I covered this. Bad and good, evolving. You don't need to evolve. From a higher perspective, there's nothing to evolve to. You are source, you are God, you decided to come down here in this aspect of the oneness, which is what is really meant, Jesus meant whenever he said son and God, son and daughter of God. That's really what he was talking about. And that this is also in the New Testament where he said, I'm the son of God, but so are you. I don't know how people miss that one. There's a lot of really good stuff in the New Testament, but it's kind of gotten so, but that happens frequently. So, from a higher perspective, there's nothing you need to evolve into, because you already are a God. You're part of the oneness. You're part of Source. You're really, really, really big. You're a very important and very powerful God. So from that perspective, you don't have to evolve or do anything right or experience good or bad. But from the perspective of humans, 3D, 4D, which is who they were talking to, most of the elite and most of the teachers, from that perspective, during that time frame, it behooves you to look at things that are bad in your life, that you need to be able to look at that from the human perspective in such a way that you can feel good about it, understand it for the experience that it is, so that you can get off the hamster wheel, look at it and go, oh, now you can do that Eckhart Tolle way, which is meditative, calm, zen-like peace, whatever happens, you can do it that way. Or you could do it Abraham Hicks way, which is pretty much, don't care about that bad thought. I'm going to be happy anyway, because I realize I create my universe. What I send out, I get back, and I am going to create more happiness. Okay? Or you could do countless any other ways. There is no right way to do anything. But you can believe there's a right way to do things, so that you can do the movie playing the character the way you feel like before you got here that you intend for you to play it. So you're on the other side and you go, okay, I'm going to go down and I'm going to play a good guy. I'm going to make my mark and make the world a better place. So you come down here, and for that experience that you have designed, then it behooves you, again, to do nice things. Do good things. Don't get angry at people. Turn the other cheek. Love thine enemies, as the Bible would say, two things. The reason for that is because the entities that all kind of got put together by humanity, the entities that were trying to tell you that you were heading back into oneness, and that this is the way you do it. Okay? Now, then before that, of course, you've got all kinds of psychologists that say you can't just let go of something. You need to work your way through it and process it. And certainly, a decade ago, you could do that. But You still can. I'm not saying you can't now. I'm just saying if you want to go to 5D, you need to just let things go and move on. If you want to continue to process or consider things good or bad, or that you need to work from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 a prize, then you're going to want to stay in 4D, which is where you are right now, and pick a game to continue playing that game, or keep making a movie, or make a different movie. If you want to do the 3D rules, as I've said before, that will be done on a different planet. So it's all about perspective. All of these answers to all of these questions that you guys give me, it's all about perspective. And right now, the reason why you're listening to me is because you are starting to learn about the illusion of time and space, and that also includes being able to change perspective. Now, you've also been taught that by people like, don't judge people unless you've walked a mile in their shoes. That's very applicable. So you're not only supposed to be learning how to change perspective from this one, but to your higher self and merge with that higher self, but on a higher level, what would it look like from this level with these agreements, or even higher with these agreements, and etc., etc. Okay? So you've got to be able to flip perspectives. So absolutely, in your movie, with these rules, this applies. But it doesn't apply to, say, your neighbor, because they've got their own game going. They've got their own movie going. Okay, everybody's got their own movie going. So different rules apply to different people at different times based on the game and the movie that everybody has decided to make. Well, this has been almost 30 minutes long, so that's extremely long for me. I'm going to stop this right here, and then I'm going to post it and listen to it and see if I can clarify, because Feel Flow Free, cute, Feel Flow Free is, she had a lot of concepts right there, so I want to make sure that I got them all. And be sure and let me know if I can clarify all of that. Comment below or email me, and we'll move forward. Mike Smith has got a bunch of good topics for videos that I will be doing over the next few days. And keep it coming, guys. This is great fun. I hope it's fun for you. I hope it's helping you. If it's not, why are you watching me then? Okay? I love you all, and I'm really, I want you to know that connecting with all of you has made me so much happier, because I don't feel alone anymore. And I am so grateful and thankful for that from all of you. And thank you for everybody that's agreed to show me their city when I get there, because I'm coming. I will be there, and I'm making a list of towns. So anybody who's in the United States, Alaska, or Canada, I would love to come and see you in person. I would love to interact with your life and find out energetically and verbally, and I would love to have that exchange and tie us all together. Okay? So if you're up for it, let me know. I would love to come visit. Okay? And I'll explain that in another video too. I love you guys all. Seriously. Huge hugs. And see you later.